Hello screenwriters and welcome to Story Ghosts. In this video we're gonna discuss how to write a screenplay. So every time when there is a question of how to, people always expect a step-by-step guide. This is what you have to do first and this is what you have to do second. If you're expected the step-by-step guide, you're not gonna get them in this video, but don't worry. We're still gonna answer to the question how to write a screenplay, just not the way you might expect it.
So this is why, as a first step, I think that it's important to concentrate on what is your story about. Because if you don't have the story, if you don't have the idea of what to write the story about, then you're just in a blank canvas. And sometimes being in a blank is great, but no matter, from the blank, you still need the next step and you need to understand what you're writing about. It could be an original story that you came up with just out of thin air, or it could be a story that you heard somewhere, an event that happened around you, or you learned about this event or the story in media. So you're adapting the reality to the screenplay. It could be that you're adapting not the reality, but some old book or a new book. It doesn't matter. We've seen Harry Potter made into a movie. It was a book, now it's a movie. It's an adaptation, right? So there are many sources of the stories. It could be original, it could be something that is born out of events, a book, or it could be even a character. It could be some kind of character that inspires you, a person that you see next to your, or your neighbor. You look at this guy and you say, okay, it would make a good story. But most importantly, I think that every story has to come even from a deeper level. Before you come up with the story, before you come up with the character, there has to be something that you want to say. If you don't have anything to say, then you're writing only because you're writing. But if you have something to say, then you're writing to say that. And this is why I say between blank canvas and the story idea, which could be formulated by title, synopsis, we'll talk about that. But between these two, in the middle, there is this urge to tell a story, urge to share an idea, urge to share the observation about life. Without that, movies don't work. It could be that you have a goal to become a screenwriter, and so you decide to write a script. And it could be that there is something inside of you that you have discovered about life, about your environment, about how people work, about how animals work, about how nature works, something that you discovered yourself. Or you have heard some different ideas and multi-stuck them into one single idea that is not generally unique and not only yours, but it's a combination of many ideas combined in a unique way for you. I think before the character, I think before the story idea or the event that you're inspired, there is something why you want to tell the story. Recently, I received an email from my partner sending me some kind of event. I think it was a book on Amazon describing some CIA action between, spy action between Russian and US governments and agencies. And he said, oh, look, this is a great source for the next movie. I mean, this could be a good story to turn into a movie and interesting. And my partner, he's more concentrated on the business side of it. He's not the writer himself. He's a producer. And so from the producer's mind, he evaluates the market. He sees that the stories that work, the stories that market needs, and comes from there. But as a writer, it's really hard to kind of order yourself to write a script of some kind. And this is why I say you need to be inspired to write the script. You need to have the urge to tell the story. On the beginning side, like when you are starting out on your journey, it might not be the case exactly. It might be that you just contrive that idea. I call it, you suck it out of thin air. You know that you need an idea, you know that you need this internal passion, and then you search for it and you find it. But that's in the beginning. Because when you start to write the script, you will have to develop characters. And then this story opponents, all these details that the story is put together will lead you to understanding what is it that you want to say in this story, or what is it that you're gonna learn from writing this mechanical story first time, and then moving to understanding what is it that you want to say, and then coming from there.
If you know how to structure a story, then you can take any idea and turn it into a screenplay. Now, is this screenplay going to be good? Absolutely not. Only story structure is not going to work unless you have a good idea.
Usually, one of the good things to proceed from there would be to write and come up with a title for the story, and then come up with a log line, and come up with some kind of synopsis, some kind of conflict in it. You see, as you decide to write a story, you need to have a specific kind of understanding the story. In order for the story to work, there has to be a character who wants and desires some kind of goal to be achieved, and that character is not able, or is not going to able to achieve this. It has to be impossible for this character to achieve that goal. And this has to be seen in the synopsis. What I'm trying to say, when you know that there is this challenge that the character is facing, and this challenge is impossible, then you're interested, why did they make this movie? Because if they made this movie, it means that this character will find a way which is not known to me. Because for now it seems impossible. Let's say we have a story concept like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, right? We have two agents, they are family, and they are given an assignment to assassinate each other, both of them. And it's impossible situation. What you're gonna do? You have no idea. So this is exactly why you're anxious to, and you're excited to see the movie, because you are gonna learn what's gonna happen in what is the solution for the problem. And this solution can be like a trigger for you to get involved and get interested into this kind of stuff.
Make sure you check out our video on how to write a great logline down in the description below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and push the notification bell. You don't really need a logline to start writing your screenplay. You can come up with it when you write, or even after you finish writing. But the thing is that you are going to need logline eventually, at least when it comes to marketing your script. So the earlier you have, the better it is, because you can use it to check if you're going in the right direction in your screenplay. You can also ask yourself, what else can make the writing process easier? Is it knowing the beginning, middle, and end, or do you need to have the whole story outlined?
That is an ancient approach, this three-act structure. Since then, many new observations have been made. There are great authors who have done anthropological or archaeological exploration of how stories have worked over centuries. Some stories from very old and some recent movies were analyzed, and these authors have found similarities between these stories and said, okay, every story consists of extra steps, not only three-act structure, but extra more steps. For example, my favorite one is Truby, but he's not the only one, and he has 22 steps. 22 steps. Instead of 3 acts, it has 22 steps that fall into each act. And he has observed how this works. But then there is another author who has devised a 7-step structure, and then there is another author who all of these authors have written great books, and you should read them. If you go to writescreenplay.com/books, you're gonna see our reviews and recommendations of what books to read about screenplay and about movie making as well. But if you subscribe to our channel and if you follow us, you're gonna see 36 steps that we have designed. We're not gonna talk about this in this video, but Those 36 steps is a combination of everything that we could find in different authors. So we kind of did our own archaeology. But instead of understanding all the stories, what we did is we understood all those different writers who understood the other stories, and then took their observations, saw what was similar in 22 Steps from Tubi, or Save the Cat, or Hero's Journey by Campbell, and many other authors, many. You can see that in our book review section. And then we combined them and said, look, these are the strong points, the points that all authors are proposing to have in your story. And then there are some weaker points, but those points are in some authors skip them, and so we designed 36 steps.
Okay, so on our website, writescreenplay.com, we designed courses to help you write your screenplay. The courses consist of the same ideas that we discuss in these videos, with the same insights, but it's more structural. So if you need more structural help to write your screenplay, then this course may be for you.
Let's go back to the question how to write a story. You need an idea. An idea can come from everywhere, and especially it should come from your desire to share something. It's not even a story, it's not a character, it's not this event. It's something that's deep inside you want to share. Once you find that, then you need to kind of write it down. Make sure that when you express it in words, it makes sense. Give it a title, give it a log line, give it a synopsis. If you can write a treatment. But in order to write a treatment, even in order to write a good synopsis, you need to have a structure of the story. Before you write all 90 pages of the script, it's better to concentrate on all these points that your story plots that your characters are going to go through, and design them. And you can use for that various authors, or you can use our 36 step formula. We don't like formulas, but that's more or less a coverage of all the steps, or all the details that could happen in a story. And once you do that, then you start writing the script. And you're never gonna be, and you shouldn't be, you might become, but you shouldn't. You should never become a slave of your story structure, not a title, not an idea. Even the depths of, even what you wanted to share from your depths, that could change.
Writing is exploration. We explore characters and themes and ideas, and it's an ongoing process until we have the final draft of a screenplay. And often what happens is that writers come up with something and they fall in love with it. They try to structure a story around it, or try to fit pieces of puzzle that don't go well together. And this often leads to artificial writing. So key is to be open to learning something new, to discovering something new. And when you do, don't feel bad about letting go of your previous idea, no matter how good it may have seemed.
The value of the story is that you start with a character who has to learn something. And you follow this character on a journey on the third act at some point. And if you know the 36 steps, it's like more detailed points, like where exactly it should happen, where exactly it happens in most of the movies and stories. It's not right to say should, you see. If I say where exactly it should happen in a story, I'm limiting you. But if I say, look, all the great stories, this is approximately where it happened, and this is how it happened, and then it's up to you to choose if you want to follow that or move around. It's up to you to understand why it's like that, and then redesign it your own way. But anyhow, any story has a character journey, and the character starts from one point, and when the character ends, there is a transformation, or the steadfast state of the character. But the audience learns. Audience always learns. And as a writer, when you write, you also have to learn. I mean, if you start to write about the character whose transformation is clear to you, it might be clear for the audience as well. If you write about the character and you write about it, and at the end you transform with the character, that's a great story. I want to see that because it changed you. I want to change as well, or at least I want to see what changed you. It's very important from the beginning to start to understand what you're writing about. It's crucial to know that the story that you're gonna construct further after making these decisions makes sense and is worth watching. Because if you don't concentrate on this part, and I'm not saying that everything that you write in the beginning, like a log line or a concept or character designs or character web, I'm not saying to stick to it forever. I'm just saying check, make sure that what you are going to write at least makes sense. And then as you write, it's going to become better and going to develop, and a title might change and the logline will become absolutely different. But at least in the beginning, you know where you're going. Without that, you might waste your time. It might be that your intuition is good enough and you just start writing, and at the end you get the story. You might be very talented, but if you came to this question, if you are interested to how to write it, then these are the things to consider. You might say no to all this, but you might want to understand yourself in the beginning of the story. But in order to do this, there is one very important thing you need to consider when you ask the question, how do I write the script? You need to understand the power of commitment. Because writing a script is not an easy task. On this channel, we try to make it look easy. By the way, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Push the notification buttons, because when we share new videos, you're gonna hear about them first. And on this channel, as I said, we are trying to make screenwriting easy and accessible for everyone. Professionals might not necessarily get benefits out of it, but if you're a beginner, if you're interested in writing the script, or if you are a little bit advanced and want to know more, here we explain and make it sound easy. But if you're not committed to writing the script, then you're gonna give up. You're going to give up on the first notes. You're going to give up when somebody does not understand what you wrote about, when somebody gives you a bad comment. Or you're going to give up when you discover that it's not going as fast as you want it to. Commitment is a very important tool when you say, I am going to write this script. You are going to write this script. If you don't say that, if you don't say it out loud to yourself, then you have less power, less patience to do it. Commitment is very powerful. Some people, in order to commit to it in a better way, even could set up a special table and a special room and environment to write script. And they might say, I'm going to dedicate 1 hour every day and write the script. Or some might say, I'm going to write 10 pages every day or 2 pages every day. Commit to something, commit to doing something. I usually don't care about exact dates, but I commit to writing the script. It's 10 pages today or 2 pages today, I know I'm doing it. And I know I'm going to get it to the end. And even if you have a very good log line, if you have a good story structure, if you have fantastic characters, if you don't write, the question of how to write the screenplay is not going to be answered. It's not about me telling you how to write the screenplay. It's about you yourself starting to write and then discovering the process. We are here to help. We're not here to necessarily make you a good screenwriter. To become a good screenwriter, it's your job.
Often writers keep their work in secret until it's finished. And you can do that, but why would you want to say no to one of the most powerful tools there is, the power of feedback? The only reason you may not want to listen to feedback is because it may be negative, and you don't want to hear anything negative about your work in progress. But unless you hear something negative about your work or even your idea, then how do you expect to make it better?
One feedback is when somebody tells you, in this scene, there is something wrong. And another feedback is when they start to tell you how to improve it. Usually, the suggestions how to improve it don't work, but the part where they if they feel that something is wrong there, you will feel the urge to change it. You don't know what you're gonna change, but you're gonna change. That's why the rewriting happens. Then you might need the professional help. Like there is a service called script doctoring. Basically, it's a script doctor, the doctor, you know, somebody takes your script, reads and gives you notes. And these notes can be on a surface, a cheaper service, or a very deep follow-up and even phone conversations. But that's very helpful. When I was writing my scripts, I would share on the first stage to 10 script doctors. I would receive feedback and then see what was repeating in different script doctors. It's not because the script doctors are professionals, more professional than you, or have a better understanding of storytelling. But they have experience of reading scripts and giving notes. Even if they're not better writers than you, they're gonna give you good notes, they're gonna give you good ideas. And if you have 10 of them, you're gonna see, oh, this, and this is a pattern. They all suggest something, I should pay more attention. By the way, on Write Screenplay /services, we do offer script writing services. And if you like our approach and videos, I think our team can do a very good job on that. But any script writing service can do for you.
So you wrote the final words of your screenplay, and you may even have a log line, a synopsis and treatment, basically everything. Does this mean that your work is done? No. What it means is that you probably just finished writing your first draft. And don't get me wrong, it's huge. It is the groundwork of what's next to come. And there is a lot more to come before you call your script final.
Once you have a well-formatted story you call a screenplay, I think you will have to rewrite it, and then rewrite it, and then rewrite it again. And then you give it to other people to read it, and they give you feedback. And then you rewrite it again, and then after, I think, so many rewrites, for some it's 10, but for some, I have rewritten some stories 60 times, okay? 60 versions. That's why they call it final draft. Final draft is the draft that you finally accept and say, this is the final. Usually I would say that the story is being written all the time, even after you finish it. Because when you send it to the producer or director, actor, they read it and they put their own perspective to it. Actor plays out the action that you wrote their own different or peculiar way, and you couldn't have written about that. And then, even when the editing stage starts, editor is the last screenwriter. Editor has the movie script, follows this movie script, but then could change the characters' feelings, and actor performed many ways, and then so your writing never stops. Your writing stops only, not writing, your rewriting never stops. What I'm saying is you write the script, you start with the title, and the writing of your script finishes when the movie is out.